Would you like to play a game?
Oh, Mega Man 5, the fifth in the Mega Man series, part of my Would You Like to Play a Game.tv game event series, everything, from 1992. And this one, Proto Man, he's sort of destroying the city. He has all of his robot masters that are kind of doing their damage. You have Charge Man, Pearl Man, all the different characters. It's kind of a question mark, though, because Proto Man was actually considered a good guy in the previous game. If you remember, he actually saved Kalinka, Dr. Kosak's daughter, whatever, so we thought he was maybe a good guy, bad guy, we were question mark. If you don't know much about Proto Man, he's actually he's sort of the prototype of Mega Man, but he had like some fatal flaw in his system. He's a bit more of a wild card, so we don't always know what he's capable of. Adds a bit of mystery to him. I actually consider this the weakest of the Mega Man 6. It wasn't nearly as original, right? So stuff was kind of similar throughout. And the second part of the game, I'll talk about it when I get there. But the second part of the game had a lot of flaws to it, and it was sort of strange. It was like they just had sort of slapped it together. Keiji Inafune, he was the guy who he's the sort of the Shigeru Miyamoto of Mega Man games. If you haven't been watching this stuff, is that he kind of summarized his work in Mega Man 5 as he thought it was like he enjoyed his work, but he actually admitted that some of the designs were a little flawed and he had some trouble with balance and colors. With that said, I actually felt like the characters, like the actual robot masters, some of them were flawed, but there was some actual pretty good ones that were in there. Part of that is because in Japan, they actually have like children and people. They all send their entries in, and so we actually had about for the different characters. So it wasn't perhaps the Capcom team so much the fans who create those characters. It's great. So there were about 130,000 character submissions for the game, so it took them a while to come up with 8. Beat joins the gang. It's that little bird thing. You have to. Beat just sort of runs around. Beat's sort of useless, but you just kind of get a little bit. It'd be kind of fun. Also, Charge Man, Pearl Man, totally unique, interesting. Even Gravity Man has kind of unique levels. So there's definitely some value to this game. But I don't know, play it, judge for yourself, and yeah, enjoy. So we've got Charge Man. He's kind of cool in that he's sort of the steampunk of robots. Here, this literally he actually runs on. Well, I guess he runs on coal, but he's coal punk. And he'll just kind of walk around, and eventually he'll like lose his temper, and then he just kind of turns bright red and charges at you, and you have to deal with it. You just kind of have a neat surfer power where you see Mega Man, he's just sort of sliding in, and so you just sort of slide around, and I don't know, it was kind of neat. So then we have a Stone Man. He was like, if you remember the Yellow Devil from Mega Man 1, the Yellow Devil, he looked like a big giant yellow guy, and he'd go into pieces and attack you, and he was really difficult, probably one of the most difficult of bosses. Stone Man, not a problem there. But what Stone Man does is he jumps around, and eventually he just falls into blocks, and he comes into a little pile, and you just wait for him to kind of come back up again. Like, not exactly threatening, but I guess they were like, you know what, we figured out how to do that with 8-bit technology. Let's see what we can incorporate into this guy. So, we got this guy. We got Napalm Man. Essentially, he's just like a walking weapon, I guess, as far as the history goes. Like, none of the other robots like hang out with him because he's just like hot-tempered and has like a lot of weapons on him. So they're like, okay, let's be cool on that guy. And Pearl Man. I think Pearl Man is just really pretty. He just shoots his little pearls around and shoots walls and kind of has his different stuff. Yeah, just kind of neat. You see how Mega Man has the little pearls around him. Actually, he'll shoot one pearl and then it hits a wall and bounces off with a bunch of other pearls. Kind of unique, clever. Gyro Man, he was just kind of nifty. Yeah, he would kind of jump up into the sky and you can see him for a while and he'd drop down and you can use Gravity Man's power because I guess it would like screw up Gyro Man. It'd screw him up from flying, as he would just fall down. Sort of makes sense, I guess. I guess flying and gravity are kind of important to each other. Gravity Man, kind of awesome, I gotta say. His level was good too, because you would like be running through the level, and there'd be these arrows, and so you jump, and when you hit the arrow, gravity would flip, and so all of a sudden you're walking on the ceiling. He's pro basically you have to kind of hit him as you're going up and down, right? Or he would be like on the ceiling, you'd be on the you'd be on the ground, and then it would like flip, and then you'd be shooting up and he'd be shooting down, so you didn't have to fire at him in the interim. You can actually see me play him at voltopag.com or I play game at TV. I actually play his level and kind of power through him or whatever. Kind of get a taste of that action. You can always watch me kind of play, usually like one level from one of the Mega Man games or the different games I'm reviewing. Just sort of a taster's choice. Starman, just kind of cool. You know, he's got cool stars. Yeah, it's pretty basic. And we got this guy. We got Wave Man. He shoots a little fist in the ground and then water would shoot up. One thing that was kind of neat about him is that you could actually use the surf function. Right? You could actually use the surf function and it would take him out. Right? So you'd be like surfing the wave. Which I thought was a little bit of clever gameplay. So of course, once you got all their powers, you fight these guys. Oops, not quite yet. Got their powers, you fight. You come to Proto Man's castle. And Proto Man, he's got kind of his own thing with his little helmet, but that's his kind of thing going on. So we still don't know the mystery between what's going on with Proto Man. But we do know that we see these guys. And these guys were sort of like a seriously kind of moment where while most of the Mega Man games are really incredibly polished, these guys were all really similar. They weren't very hard. And I was sort of like, that's all you can offer. Like, I understand this might not be Dr. Wily's castle. Dr. Wily usually shows up at some point. But like, I don't know, man. Mega Man 4, they had Dr. Kosai's castle, and that was great. He had some really unique, interesting characters, good, interesting design, just fun to play. These guys were not that, they were none of that. So, then you finally face Proto Man, but this really isn't actually the real Proto Man. It was sort of like a fake Proto Man. So then we got real Proto Man shows up. It's like, hey buddy, this isn't, nah, I'm not having any of that. So it takes him out. Turns out it's actually this robot guy, just a buffed up version of those guys from before. He has this cool force field thing that kind of spins around him. That I kind of like that. That was kind of neat. You had to kind of deal with his magic force field, which as far as a technical thing was kind of unique. So yeah, Mega Man 5 does show that. So you end up finding out Dr. Wily was behind it all, of course. And things are a little more futuristic. They're getting a little better at the 8-bit pixel technology. You even got a little W in there, this kind of thing. And so you had to fight these guys. So these guys are actually at least kind of cool, right? He kind of has his little spiky things kind of come out, and you have to step on them as levels and kind of hit him in the head. So at least they were like being a little more solid with Dr. Wily, you know, to kind of show things along. So you got this guy, he kind of shoots along. That's the Wily press. So we got to rematch the Royal Masters. That was Circing Q9 and the Big Pets, if you want to know what those guys' names were. But this rematch of the Robot Masters, you know, pretty solid, pretty good. These Robot Masters I'm not as into as I was in some of the other Mega Mans, but as I said, Gravity Man's pretty cool, Charge Man's pretty cool, Pearl Man's just kind of gorgeous and what his kind of powers and stuff do. So that's all kind of nice stuff. So take out those guys. And we of course fight. This is at least kind of cool looking, right? Dr. Wily's always got this kind of skull face things. A little tall, a little goofier, but you know, I'm not going to judge. So, at least not too much. So we got Dr. Wily. He has no intention of sticking around this time around, so, oh, that's Mega Man 5 next time. So, yep. Here you go. This is, you kind of got a little taste of Mega Man 5, but yeah, not a big deal. So enjoy. If you want to play this game, you can. If you want to see me play Gravity Man, or you want to see the other presentations, just go to would you like to play a game.tv or woltapag.com. And until next time, great. Thank you.